morning, everyone. There's a good shine there from the light. As you can see, I'm in a different office today. I hope people have been keeping well, and that the shine isn't too distracting for you. So I suppose you've all had, or I hope you've all had a pretty good week. In Drogheda, we've had well, it's a lovely sunny day today, but I suppose we've had a very tragic few days. As a young teacher in one of our secondary schools tragically passed away, and it's had quite a profound effect on the community as a whole. Lynn Brown was a fantastic teacher. I know she's had a significant impact on my own daughter's life in a very short space of time, and I've no doubt that the same goes for hundreds of children in the Drogheda area. Lynn was a great, very bubbly person. Whenever you'd be in the school and you'd meet with her, she would always stop and have a conversation. So our thoughts go to her family, Ken and her son, and her extended family and friends. I hope you're all doing as well as can be expected in a very, very difficult time for you all. I suppose it leads on to the first point to talk about is, discussing grief with your children. Sorry to hear that, Josephine. It is extremely sad. Josephine just commenting there that Lynn taught her eldest daughter too. It's talking to your children about grief. It can be a difficult subject because some parents are very worried about not saying the wrong thing, or making sure that that they offer the best support they can to their children. And what I'd say to you is, even just being there for your kids sometimes, to talk or not talk is as much as they might need in any given moment. I suppose a lot of the schools, and especially at times like this, they will offer support, so they'll bring in extra counsellors and stuff to speak to the children, to try and give them that extra bit of support. But sometimes kids don't want to talk to a complete stranger, and that can be difficult then for the parents, because we worry about what our kids are experiencing and making sure that they're okay. But as we all know, we all manage grief in very different ways, and some of us take longer to process. Some kids will be very open about their sadness, and others will seem like it's not actually impacting on them all at all, and it may be further down the road that you experience it with them. So what I'd say is, be there. Just be there for them. Say, look, if you want to come talk to me, come talk to me. It's okay. If you are upset, it's okay to feel your feelings. There's going to be lots of different emotions flying around all over the place. So friends will be upset, teachers will be upset. It's a very, very sad time, and it's okay to be sad. We don't have to fix our children's emotions straight away. They can be upset. They can cry. It's absolutely okay, because, like I said, grief hits us all in many different ways. So it's important that our kids are allowed the space to actually be upset or not. They don't have to talk about everything that's going on for them. Maybe they don't know the words. They don't have the words to explain how they're feeling. If this is the first experience they've had of grief, they might be unsure of what's actually going on for them. So it's all right for them to take the time. I'd always go back to the little notebook. If you have a child who maybe isn't, or maybe does struggle with, isn't as open, or struggles with talking about their feelings, get a little notebook and just say, look, hope you're doing okay. I'm here to talk if you want. What you might find is they find a lot more solace in their peer group. They might find a lot more solace in the teachers or the other supports. That's okay too. We can put our own little bit of pride and want to look after our kids to the side, because what's important is that they manage their grief as best as possible. And you might have a child that breaks down, says, I'm fine, and then breaks down. That's okay too. It's just one of those things. None of us know how we're going to manage grief when it occurs. So as best as possible, just be there for them. Let them know that you're there. Let them know that they can talk to you if they need to talk about it. If you have a child who finds it difficult to express their emotions, write them a little note. They can reply if they want. They don't have to if they don't want to. It's absolutely okay. And if your child does need extra support, if they're really, really struggling with grief, then maybe it's okay to go and access a professional. It may only take a short amount of time, but what you're doing is you're saying to your child, look, we're here and we're going to support you whatever way we can, or whatever way you feel might be best for you. So I suppose if people have any questions around grief, do send me an email, and I will get back to you. As you all know, I will reply to every email. It might take me a few days to do it, but I will reply. So do send me over an email if you do need extra support. But do access the supports that are around a school or around your area if need be for your children. And just help them try and find ways to get it out. If that means crying, if that means getting a punch bag, that's okay. So we have a couple of questions today that we'll deal with. First up is, I have 4 children under the age of 9, and I rely heavily on my parents to help bring them up, as I'm a single parent and work part-time. The issue is that they constantly undermine me in front of my children, which means that when I get home with the kids, they are much harder to manage. I don't want to hurt my parents' feelings, but I can't keep going like this, as it's bringing me down and I end up with a very short fuse with my children. What can I do to make them understand? There's many grandparents out there who are minding children and looking after, grandchildren, to help their kids out. And without grandparents, we'd all be lost. They can be a huge support, but it can bring its own challenges, and it's about trying to find the best way to manage those challenges. I think the fact that it's actually impacting on you so much, on your own mental health, as well as the ability to manage your kids when you get them home, it is something that you really do need to sit down and go through with them. Now, I'm going to assume you've probably had on and off conversations with them, or short enough things where you said, look, I need you to do this with the kids for me, please. And it might work for a little while and then it slips. And it's not about telling your parents how to parent, because a lot of grandparents will say, well, I brought you up and you didn't turn out too bad, or I'm well aware how to bring up children. But this is not about bringing up children. This is about bringing up your children. And maybe it's about you sitting down with them and saying, look, these are the things, and get them straight in your own head before you have the conversation. These are the things that are actually making life difficult, and it's impacting on me. It's actually impacting on my mental health. So I need to be able to be seen to be on the same point, at the same level as you guys when it comes to my kids. Because what can happen is we can get to a point where we're kind of going, well, wait till Grandad finds out about this, and all the power shifts. So the child becomes, afraid of what Grandad's going to say, or, how disappointed he might be, or he might shout or whatever. But then you're waiting for Grandad to actually step in and be the parent, and that can be difficult as well, because your kids might go, well, I'm not going to see Grandad for a week, so, I've nothing to lose. So what I'd say to you is, sit down with your parents, have the conversation if you can. If you can't, write them a letter outlining. And it's not about outlining what they're doing wrong. It's about outlining what are the things you need them to do in order that you're not having to manage kids who are not respecting you enough, or as they should, and that you're managing your own mental health better as well. And see how that goes. And they may turn around and be absolutely well up for changing and going, yeah, absolutely, we're sorry, we didn't realize that it was actually having this impact on you. So what do you need us to do? And we'll do it. If that doesn't work, maybe you need to look at something else, another option. Is there somebody else that can look after them? It might be difficult. You might need to start to pay somebody. Then you have to weigh up the option of, okay, I'm working, but if I have to pay somebody, my wages are completely gone, and that's a real thing. So as much as possible, I suppose you want to keep the situation as it is, because you want your children to have time with their grandparents as well. So what I'd say to you is, let them know in whatever you think is the best way that they're going to understand. So sometimes writing the letter allows them to take it away and process it, and not just react in the moment. Because if we talk to them and say, look, this is happening and it's actually impacting on me, they'll have an emotional response to what you're bringing up. So that can be difficult for them, and they might, sometimes people can retreat and go, well, hold on, I'm doing nothing wrong, I'm helping you out. And they respond in that kind of, whoa, I'm doing you a favor here attitude, when actually what you want to get across is these are the things that just need to change in order for me to be able to manage the situation better for myself and for my kids, and ultimately for the grandparents, because it's all well and good, letting things slide when the kids are smaller, but when they become teenagers, it's a lot more difficult to manage. And when you have a 12, 13, 14-year-old, if they are disrespectful, or if they know that they can kind of get away with things, they'll push it with grandparents as they get older. And, your grandparents are going to, or your parents are going to be getting older too, so they might struggle to manage that situation too themselves. So it's for everybody's benefit in the long run, including your kids, because you don't want disrespectful kids. So give it a go and see how you get on. Okay. Last one. I left school when I was 13 and never went back. It just wasn't for me. The problem I'm having now is that my 10-year-old has started coming home with homework, and some of it I just don't understand. I don't want my child thinking I'm stupid, but I don't want to be giving her the wrong way to do something or the wrong answers. How do you think I can deal with this without feeling like I'm stupid, just like I did when I was in school? Yeah, that's really, really difficult, because what can happen is when we have a negative attachment to something like school or homework, what can happen is when you have a situation where your children are in school, we get catapulted back into the feelings that we had when we were children. So they come up for us. So we start to feel stupid, and we start to feel angry. We start to kind of go, oh, school was nothing, you know what I mean? It was useless for me, and the teachers were horrible. And we start to put those feelings, or take those feelings into the present when they're not actually what is necessary. And at the end of the day, no one wants to feel stupid. And that's absolutely understandable. None of us want to feel stupid at any given time. So I suppose there are a few things you can do. One, you can sit down with your child and say to your child, look, there are some things that I just don't remember how to do them. So what we can do is we can look them up and figure out the way to actually do them. That way you're not saying to your child, I don't know what they are because I'm stupid. You just don't remember. And that's absolutely true. I sat down with my daughter recently, and I could not, I absolutely had no idea what she was having to do for her maths homework. I literally had no memory of it. So it's not, you're not being dishonest by saying that you don't remember. It's all right. And the great thing is we all have mobile phones, so you can look up and figure out how to do it, not just the answer, but how to do it. So what you can do is, look, we'll sit down together and try and figure out how to do it using using Google, and see if that works. The other thing is, if this is something that is really weighing on you, that you didn't finish school, could you go back and study part-time and get your certificates or whatever it might be? Would that be of benefit to you if you felt then that you had achieved something? And it might open doors for you, that as your children grow and need you less and less, you then have the time and space to actually go and study or work for something that you actually want to do yourself. You might not, but that's okay too. I suppose ultimately it's about you being open with your child as well. Not necessarily sitting there and saying, well, I left school at 13 and it turned out okay, but saying that just some of the stuff I don't remember. I just don't remember how to do it. And then you can look it up. The other thing you can do is maybe go and speak to the school, speak to the teachers. I'm sure every school has parent-teacher meetings. Go and say, look, some of the homework, I'm not quite sure how to do it, and my child kind of comes home and they can't remember what they've learned during the day because it's been a long day or whatever it might be. Is there any kind of resources or sites that we could look up that would be of benefit that we could use to help us? And the school might be able to help you through that as well. They might be able to give you suggestions so that you're not left feeling like you're doing this on your own. At the end of the day, it's all right to hold your hands up to your child and go, I actually don't know what this is. Let's try and figure out what it is. That's absolutely okay. You're teaching your child that it's all right to not know, because sometimes we put so much expectation and we don't, on ourselves, not on our children. We put it on ourselves, and our children do the same. And we're living in a time where people put their best side out on social media. So we pretty much see only the good things that people want us to see, and we don't see the struggles. And that's not saying that we need to start putting our lives and our struggles out onto social media, but it's about saying that it's all right, kids, to not know something. It's all right to not have the answer. It's all right to not look fantastic all the time. It's all right to not have to filter your face to make sure that the lines are gone away. It's all right to just be who you are and be as you are. Remember some things, forget some things. That's all right. So you're teaching your kids that it's all right to look and say, I actually don't know. What I will do is I'll find out. I have to do it in work all the time. Plenty of times people come to me and say, I'm not quite sure. And I'll say, I don't know either, but we'll figure it out and we'll find out a way to get the answer for you. So see how that goes. Do come back to me if you need to. That's us for today. As I said, it's a very sad time in here in Drogheda. Tomorrow is Lynn's funeral, and for those of you going, I believe the family want people to wear bright colours because she was a very flamboyant person, and it would be what she would want. So it's a sad time. It's not fair. It's just not fair. Take care of each other and take care of yourselves. And I will see you, I think, in 2 weeks' time. All right. Take care.